Well, how's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms. In middle of July, guys. If I said it was hot, that would be an understatement. So I'm inside doing some things this morning to kind of let this heat pass. I'll get back out there this afternoon, late this afternoon, and get some more things done. But it's only a little after 9 o'clock here, guys, and it is brutal out there. We're supposed to get in the mid to upper 90s this week. Humidity everywhere. Y'all let me know in the comments what it's like where you are. I've got some friends around the nation that I check in with pretty much every morning online, and you know, they're talking about, man, it's hot here, and they're running 79, 80 degrees, something like that. Come on, man. Anyway, that's we're not gonna have that debate here. In my last video, I had some comments on that about how bad this gardening season was, and I've heard from people through some personal channels that not necessarily on my YouTube page, but on some personal channels that, you know, that it was either real good or real bad. There really wasn't any middle ground. So I just wanted to kind of correct something. You know, it kind of made it sound, I watched my video back, and it kind of made it sound like we were completely desolate out here. We're not. First of all, as I said in that video, we have done what we needed to do in the good years to make sure that we had some in the lean years. I mean, that's just biblical. That's what we do. And so, yes, we still have some things in the freezer that, of course, they're going to get used up. They need to get used up. We don't want to waste it and let it go bad and things like that. We still have some things canned. Will we have to rely more on organic sources from grocery stores and from other places? Absolutely we will. But we're not going to starve to death. I hate if it came across that way, that, you know, we were in a hard way around here. Disappointed, yes, but this happens every, I don't know, 3, 5, 7 years. I will have an extremely bad year, and everything just fell in place this year that I'm having an extremely bad year in the garden. But we have things, and you know, my garden was not a complete loss. That's another thing that I think came across the wrong way in that last video. Being able to get some things out of it, you know, yes, we were able to, and luckily, I've got some other people that did have a pretty good year in their gardens this year, and they have blessed us as well. And that is the beauty of this kind of lifestyle, is that, you know, usually you always have somebody to fall back on, and that was the case this year. Now, kind of went down there and scrounged around in all the weeds, guys, that are chest high. Such an embarrassment, but it is what it is. And I was able to find a few things this morning, and that's what I'm working on. So let me turn you around here and let you see what's going on. Y'all have seen this process before. What we've got here are some fresh, 100% organic, straight out of the garden, never been touched by pesticides or herbicides, green bell peppers. And what I'm doing is I'm preparing them for the freezer, and that's the way we normally use them. Now, you know, in the years where we have so much, people ask me, what are you going to do with all those bell peppers? Well, to be honest with you, and this is just, bell peppers just an example. To be honest with you, we do eat some fresh, and people in the family like stuffed bell peppers when they're in season and stuff like that, and so we do eat a lot of them like that. But we also have to keep in mind that there's coming a time in just a few months where we won't be able to grow bell pepper. So between what I scrounged out of the garden, the few down there, and what some dear friends of mine at church blessed us with, because they had an overabundance that was just going to sit, this is what I'm working on. And y'all, as I've said before, y'all have seen this. This is just my diced peppers. Now, some of them, the ones I've already worked on, let's see if I can come over here. You can see right here, those are bell pepper strips. Okay, now if I needed to chunk those up, I needed some bell peppers the other night before I got these other ones. I took some of these and chipped them up into the recipe I was using. But what that's mainly for is not necessarily to put in sauces and stuff. That's for stir fries, that's for fajitas and things like that that we like to do. So I cut them in a couple of different ways. But I wanted to show you real quick, you know, especially when you're scrounging around, you don't have a lot, you use every single part. So I've got my pepper here open. You can see that I've cut the top off of it. When I cut the top off my peppers, now if I had a whole counter full of them, I probably wouldn't be as careful. But you can see that how thinly I have cut across the top, and of course the stem falls out of the center. And most people would throw that away. But you know what that is? That's peppers, right? So, you know, I come over here and put it in there just like I do my other peppers. Boom, done. It's in there. It is chipped up now into these pieces that we can just reach into the bag and take what we need, okay? So what I'm telling you is when you're low, you make sure that you take your time. Of course, you don't have as much to process. The only thing that we're not eating is the insides. There's all the seeds and everything, and a few of the little thicker the white ribs inside that I took out that are not very appetizing. But you can see from over here, you know, I didn't get all of it out and don't plan to. So then, as you notice, I will take these when they're all done. I'll put them over here on my pan lined with aluminum foil, and I just do that because my pans, you ought to see how bad they look. We actually use our pans around here. You know, this is not a Pampered Chef kitchen. But I just put it on aluminum foil, and I will lay this whole pan in the top of my deep freeze back there in the back of the house, and tomorrow I'll bag them. And then we'll have some to cook with and everything else. Now, again, will these ever get us to the end of the year? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. But another thing I wanted to address real quick before I finish this video and before I finish this little task, because I've got, you know me and my list, man. I've got a list of things to do today, especially some inside things that I don't normally get to do while it's so hot out there. Guys, it's just about taking control of at least part of your life, okay? Yes, I was down about that garden, and you know, I was worried about things like peppers and different things like that we're getting very low on. But you know, we can buy organic peppers and chip them this way and do things like that. But guys, building community, you know, a lot of people think about this homesteading lifestyle as I want to get completely away from civilization. I don't want to depend on the system. I don't want to depend on grocery stores. And to be honest with you, I don't want to depend on people. And there's some healthy parts of that, I will admit. But the problem comes in when you're so proud that you cut yourself off from other people that feel the same exact way. And so I'm surrounded by people that they may not call themselves homesteaders. They may not call, you know, this is just the way they live. This is not homesteading to them. This is just everyday life. So being surrounded by people like that, you know, the conversation at church or wherever you might be says, hey, I've got a ton of peppers. Can you use some peppers? 2 weeks ago, I had one of my church members text me and say, hey, do y'all like okra? Well, of course we like okra. We live in the South, right? And I said, you know, just, and of course okra down here, you cut it every single day. And so she said, well, you know, yeah, I'll bring you some. And I said, you know, just enough for a meal or two. Let me tell you something. We have had a glut of okra, and I didn't grow any this year. So that's the beauty of it. You know, this right here allows me in just what I can produce here to disconnect from the system with this, okay? Now, does that get me off the system? Does that get me off the grid? Absolutely not. But for this one thing, it does. One little small incremental step. People blessing me with produce, going down there and scrounging what I can out of my own garden and putting that all together. Am I completely self-sufficient? No. Will I ever be completely self-sufficient? Absolutely not. I will never be completely cut off from the system. It's just, there's not enough hours in the day. And there's, to be honest with you, you can't grow some of the things that you need in your environment. You know, whether you live in the northern United States or down here where I live, I can't grow some of the things that we need, right? So I'm always going to be connected at a certain point. But let me tell you something, freedom is being connected to people that have the same values that you do. If I can get my peppers, in this case, from somebody that believes what I believe, they not only with growing things, but in general about where the world came from and who it belongs to, then that's freedom to me. That's not dependency, that's freedom. Because the truth of the matter is, at some point, I'm going to be able to bless them back. The people that I'm talking about personally don't have blueberries. Well, what do I have in excess of between mine and the lady across the street? Blueberries. So, you know, it works that way, and that's not being tied down to a system of bartering. That is freedom. That is what freedom looks like. And again, those peppers probably won't make it till Christmas, but it gets me to Christmas. So just for that little bit of time, I'm cut off from the system. So we use every part. We're going, especially this year, we're going to use every single part. Cutting as carefully as I can, because I'm not going to waste a thing. But more importantly, we're not going to use what happened in our garden to discourage us. Was I discouraged? Yes. Was I upset? Absolutely. It's not going to change what we do here and what we're trying to do here in the future, okay? So keep your heads up, keep pushing, keep planting, keep growing, and just, if you can grow enough peppers to get you to Christmas without having to buy into the corporate system, where even though it may say organic, that usually that organic label doesn't mean a whole lot, to be honest with you. Do it. Keep doing it, and keep watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. Let's get this thing rolling again. We've kind of slowed down a little bit. Let's get it back up and rolling. And don't forget, leave a comment. I love to talk to people from all across the nation that are watching these videos. And until next time, we love you. God bless you. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.